4, we are going to, our learning goal is to identify parallelograms. In 6.3, we learned all this stuff about parallelograms. We learned about which sides were congruent, which angles were congruent, and I know we've all forgotten that over the last 2 weeks, so we're going to review it. Okay?
Oh.
So the whole top of this could actually be found in 6.3. Okay, and then we're just going to use it now. So we have a parallelogram. Yes?
Sure.
So what makes something a parallelogram? Well, first it has to have 2 sets of parallel sides, right? Correct? Do you have both bars here? On this one?
Yes.
Huh. Okay. So AB is parallel to what? No.
Can we do AB on the top line?
AB is parallel to what? CD. Why did you see what you did?
I don't remember what I said.
Okay.
So
it was like a side.
Oh, I meant. Why do you have the extra line?
Does it say CB?
That's for the AB.
It's for the AB.
Oh.
You should have a spot.
Terrible.
Huh?
Your A looks terrible.
I know, it's the pin.
Oh.
I'm not going to sit there and mess with it. It's AB. Okay, and then what other parallel sides do I have? BC and AD. Could I write AD as parallel to BC? Yeah. Okay. So a parallelogram has 2 sets of parallel sides. Oh, it's right here.
Yeah.
There's my other line. But your line is here, isn't it?
No.
It's there?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Write it over here. Don't write it on that line.
That's why I learned that point.
Yeah, don't write it on this line. When I changed things, it must have changed the spacing. I'm sorry, and I didn't pay attention. Okay, so I have blank and blank are diagonals. So what's one diagonal? AC
And BD.
and BD. And guess what they do to each other? What do you think? Do you remember? They do intersect, but where they intersect, what does it do to both of them?
Make them
It makes them equal, so what's that word?
bisect.
Bisect. So they bisect each other. And if you need to put here, what would be my bisect? What does bisect mean? Cuts it in half. Okay. See, you had some of this stuff in there, didn't you? Now it says blank and blank, blank and blank, blank and blank, and blank and blank are blank because they are blank. Ooh, that's a lot. Well, I'm going to say
A, B, B, and D.
angle A and angle B. Okay, what's the relationship between angle A and B?
Equal 180.
They equal 180. Yes. But they're same side interior, remember? Because I can draw these out and they're transversals, right? So AB. What else?
BC.
BC, yeah, B and C. What else?
And then could we C and D?
C and D.
And then D and A.
D and A. Okay, they equal 180, so what's that word for 180?
Complementary.
Supplementary. And we probably should put what underneath of it?
180.
180, so I remember. Because they are, I already said it.
Equal.
No, I already said they're supplementary. They're not equal, they're supplementary. Remember, they're same side interior.
Yeah.
So same side. Interior. Angles. Oh, I'm going to have to make it smaller. So you guys are going to have to look, because I want us to be able to see the picture at the same time. Okay, so if you can't see, you have a paper that has exactly what this has on it, right? Okay, now I want congruent parts.
AB is congruent to DC.
AB is congruent to CD. And I'm going to mark it. We probably should go blue, huh?
BC is congruent to AB.
Okay. Blue, blue. Okay, BC is congruent to AD. So I got to use 2 on that one, right?
Can you do the angles?
Yep, we got all the
So,
angles.
Angle A, angle C,
Okay,
then angle B, angle B.
so
we put AC's BD. Or no.
AC or A is congruent to what?
C.
C. So angle A is congruent to angle
C.
C.
Angle B.
Oh, okay, and these are opposite sides, aren't they?
Yeah.
Okay, so you might want to put that on there. And the reason why I do that is, are they always going to be named A, B, B? Are they going to be all named A, B, C, D? No. But opposite sides are congruent, yes? And what are these?
Opposite angle.
Opposite angles, but they're kind of like diagonal angles. You know what I mean? So write whatever makes sense to you so you know it's this angle and this angle. Does that make sense? So then, if AC are congruent,
BD. Angle B.
angle B and angle D.
Can I see?
Why do you go like AC is equal to AC?
Where ABC is congruent to ADC.
Well, yeah, but I named them this way. And the reason I did that is because we're going to talk about there's some more angles up there.
B
But
is congruent to A.
no, B and A are not congruent. They're what?
Diagonal.
They're
Supplementary.
supplementary because they're same side interior, right? So A and B, those same side are supplementary. Opposite are
So you can't have any more.
congruent.
Yep.
Yep.
You go like AC is equal to AC.
Well, what about AP?
Oh.
AP
is
congruent to PC.
AP is congruent to CP because they bisect each other, yes?
Yeah.
Okay. Then I got one more.
Then B.
BP.
BP
is congruent to DP.
is congruent to DP. Now, I did leave off 2 blanks that I should have. I had them on there and then I took them off because my brain was like, oh, they don't, it doesn't have to have that. There are some angles we didn't talk about up here yet. So you should have room to write 2 more down here, shouldn't you? You have room to add 2?
No,
Okay.
Barely.
Well, what about this angle right here?
What the heck is that?
An arc. Isn't it congruent to this angle right here?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, because it's like a.
Because this is their alternate interior angles, right? So this is why I allowed you to name A, B, and C just with A, B, and C. So if I'm going to talk about this angle here, that would be BAC, wouldn't it? Okay. So angle BAC is congruent to angle what?
CDA.
I gotta get this. So ACD. Remember that vertex has to be in the middle. Okay. So what about on the other side? What about over here?
So
Are these 2 congruent?
Yeah.
So that one would be
CAD.
CAD is congruent.
To BDA. To ACB. Or
Yeah, ACB is fine, or BCA, right? Oops. Should probably start with A just because. So these are all things we discussed in 6.3. All of them. So now we're going to use them to prove if something's a parallelogram or not. So if it's a parallelogram, it has to have some of these things going. It has to have these things going on, right? So the next picture, everybody have this blown up? So you're going to have to look at this while we go through everything. So I'm going to, blown up, written down is what I meant. I'm going to blow this up. Okay. Can it be concluded that ABCD is a parallelogram?
Yeah.
Which sides need to be, because I have two sets of congruent sides, right?
Yeah.
But what does the relationship of the sides need to be?
Supplementary.
No, the sides. Not angles. Supplementary or angles.
Parallel.
This side and this side, they have to be what?
Parallel.
They have to be parallel, but they have to be opposite, correct?
Yeah.
Are these sides that are congruent opposite of each other?
No.
No.
No. So is this a parallelogram?
No.
No. And you're going to say no because, and you're going to find your own words. Mine, I say the opposite sides
What are those lines? Are those angles, right? Those angles? Those little lines? Whatever.
no, these are sides.
Okay.
Angles are in angles. Okay, opposite sides are what? Are not congruent. Because the consecutive sides are congruent, and that's not how this works, is it? Those opposite sides have to be congruent. So for this to be a parallelogram, AD would have to be congruent to what?
To DB.
No.
Oh no.
AD
Oh, it has to be congruent to BC.
would have to be congruent to BC. And is that the case?
No.
This has one line and that has two.
lines.
Okay, so you have to pay attention of the relationship of what they're saying. Because you're like, oh, well, it has, oops, I erased part of that. It has two sets of congruent lines, right? But are they opposite of each other? No. Okay, so next one. Are they a parallelogram? Explain yes or no.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
because
So, go ahead.
D and F have the same angle. Or,
Well,
D would have the angle of F, that would be 27. Then E and
well, but no, we only have to, what we have. Go off what we have.
Yeah, I did figure that out.
No. Just start with what we have first.
Yes, because the 153.
153 is the same as
Opposite.
1, they're opposite angles,
Yeah.
okay? And
G and F are opposite,
G and F,
are the same as D and E.
what do G and F have to be, guys?
Congruent.
They have to equal 180. Look at your picture that you have on your notes. G and F are same side, yes?
What?
They have to be supplementary, are they?
But isn't the 27
So
going
0,
across the
8, 180.
Yeah.
Okay, so my opposite angles are congruent, yes?
Yeah.
And my consecutive angles are supplementary. Okay, so yes, 1.
What?
What? You're right.
So I
No.
was doing it right. I added them up.
Okay, just a second. Juan had his hand raised.
No, I didn't have.
Okay,
Great.
now, Kaylee, what I'm telling you, Carly, not Kaylee, you don't worry about D. What you did wasn't wrong, but worry about what you have. Does that make sense?
What? No.
Does it? Okay, we have E and G. And yes, because angle E is congruent to angle G, and that's one of the rules, correct? And angle G plus angle F is what? They're supplementary, so they're 180 degrees. So what you were doing, Carly, wasn't wrong, but you don't have to go that far. You're just doing extra work. Does that make sense?
So really, we're just trying to find if they're 180.
No, it's just for like.
That's just the consecutive angles. The other one we were talking about sides. Here we were talking about angles.
Yeah, I'm confused. So
Okay, so the next one. Is it a parallelogram?
No, because
it doesn't equal 180.
the opposite sides aren't the same.
These aren't the same, and
That doesn't
that doesn't equal 180. Right? Okay, so we're no. Because
L and O aren't.
O,
Wouldn't that equal 180? Yeah, that does equal.
does it equal 180?
Yeah,
Now?
yes, it does.
89 plus 90.
9, yep, it does equal 180. It does. So the only reason that does equal 180, I didn't add it up, I just went with it. That does equal 180, right?
Mhm.
So it meets that condition, but are these opposite angles congruent? No. Okay? See how I drew a line through the congruent sign? So it means not congruent. Got it? So if you're going to write like this instead of the words not congruent, I need to be able to tell what sign you crossed out. That makes sense? What I just said?
Yeah.
Okay. So on all of these today, it's going to be, are they a parallelogram? Yes or no? If it's a yes, you have to tell me why. If it's a no, you have to tell me why. And then it's going to say, what do you know? Because it is a parallelogram. And that's what's on the back. Now remember, don't write on the back, write on the other sheet of the paper, other sheet. Everyone clear?
Yes.
One sheet was the front, one sheet was the back. Okay, so what are the values that make each quadrilateral a parallelogram? So, if it is a parallelogram, what do I know about the sides?
360.
The sides.
Oh, 180.
The sides.
They have angles that you add up.
The sides.
Sides like
So you
terms.
gotta
The opposite sides are equal. How do I know I'm talking about sides on the first one?
because this thing.
Because I have what information?
So you're
Sides.
gonna put 4r plus 7
Right.
equals 7r plus multiplied back together, hoping it equals 6.
Okay, the first one has to deal with sides because I have information about the what?
Sides.
The sides. What does the second one have to
That
deal with?
one's angles.
This one is angles because I have the information about what?
Angle.
Angles. Okay, so what do I know about opposite sides? They are what?
You do 4r plus 7 plus 7r plus 1.
What do I know about opposite
They're
sides?
equal.
They're congruent, so the values are equal, yes? So 4r plus 7 equals what?
7r plus 1.
7r plus 1. And also, s plus 5 equals what?
Equals
2s minus 2. Because I know opposite sides are congruent, correct? And now I have two algebra problems that I need to solve. So hopefully you're solving them right now. Did you get R was 2 and S was 7?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, could I ask you what the side lengths are from here?
Yeah.
I would do what?
Don't you have to do that to make sure I'm right?
Well, you should. That would be a check. Yes. If I wanted to know the side length, I would just plug in R, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so 4 times 2 is?
8.
Plus 7 is?
15.
15. And then 2 times
14.
14 plus 1 is
15.
15. And then S is 7. So 7 plus 5 is
14.
what, 12? And then 2 times 7 is 14 minus 2 is 12. Now, I don't have to do that, right? But will that tell me if I solve those problems right or not? Yes. Okay, now, the next one, it has to deal with angles, yes? Now, I could use the fact that same side angles equaled 180, correct?
Yeah.
Or I can use the fact that the opposite, the diagonal equal, are congruent, or equal, yes? Now, in this one, why can't I use that R and U are supplementary? Why can't I take it and add it and equal to 180?
Because it's 4B and the other one's 3A.
So I have A and B. I have 2 variables, right? Now, I could do it, and I could set up a nice system of equations and make this problem really hard. But we don't want to make it hard, do we? Not if we don't have to. And so, what does 5A equal?
3A
3A plus 14. And what does 3B plus 37 equal?
4B
4B plus 1. Because we know those angles that are diagonal are equal, correct? Now I have 2 algebra problems I just need to solve. Okay, did you guys get A was 7 and B was 36?
Yeah.
Not hard at all, right? Just have to remember what's equal to each other. Now, again, I could have made this problem really hard, but we don't want to make them hard, do we? We want them to be easy. Okay, the next 2 are basically the same, yes?
Yeah.
Let's do this one, the bottom one, and then I'll have you guys go up and do these 2 on your own. Okay? So, the bottom one, you'll have to work sideways. I left your room sideways. Okay, what am I talking about on this one? The diagonals, right? And what does my front say about the diagonals? What does my other sheet say about the diagonals? They what each other?
Bisect.
They bisect, so that means they cut them into what?
Half.
Half, so equal parts, right? So what do I know about A to the center and the center to C? They're equal, right? So I'm just going to have 3Q plus 1 equals what?
Equals 2Q plus 3.
Plus 3. And then what do I know about the other one?
7Q plus
7P
1.
plus 1? I did the same thing. I did
Oh.
Q's on both of them. 7P plus 1 equals what?
5P plus 3.
5P plus 3. So is this problem really any different than the other 2?
No.
No. Okay. So do this. Finish. Finish.
And then do you want us to do the work?
If you finish before I go over it, go ahead and start the other ones. I'm going to ask you, do you guys think we need to do the other 2 together?
Will you do it later once we get done with this? So I can
Yeah.
see if I can do it for you.
Yep. We can do them. We have time. I'm pretty sure. We're not crunched for time. Q is 2 and P is 1?
Yes.
Okay.
Is all we have to do for that?
Now, if I ask you the length of the diagonal, let me ask you what is AC. How would I find AC?
You would combine.
Add them together.
Yeah.
You'd add them together, or I could plug in my Q, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so if I plug in my Q, I get 6 plus 1, which is 7. And 2 times 2 is 4, plus 3 is 7. So 7 plus 7 equals 14. Or I could have 5Q plus 4 and plug in my Q, couldn't I?
Yeah.
So that'd be 10 plus 4 is 14. So there's other questions they can ask on top of this stuff. I don't think they do, but could they?
Yeah.
Do you guys want to do one of the other ones before we go on by
I
yourself?
did them both.
Same.
I did them both.
Did you guys
I,
already do them?
I haven't even started on those. Can
Me,
finish
Connor,
up those
Connor.
2 problems.
Okay, how about we do this one? Just a second, since they've already, most of them have already done it. How about we go down and do the bottom one, and then we'll come back up. Okay, so, and then that way you guys can check if you're right, and he can work. Does that make sense? Okay, so for these examples, it says each quadrilateral is a parallelogram. I told you they are. Okay. Oh, is each.
No, you didn't.
Sorry, is each of them. Shoot. What I was going to ask what information you needed. There, I think you have a couple questions on that. It's like, what other information do you need? And,
Make
you,
it.
and you've done that before. Okay, so the first one. Well, I know that E and F and G and F are congruent. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's good, right? So that means F and E have to equal what?
180.
180, do they?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so they equal 180. So if they equal 180, then that also means that E and F and G and H are equal to each other.
So,
Okay,
yes.
so it's a yes. And we say because angle F plus angle E equaled what?
180.
180. Could I just say angle F plus an angle E are supplementary?
Yeah.
Yeah, but equals 180 would be easier than writing supplementary, right? And so if these are, then that would make this parallel to this because this is a transversal, yes?
Yeah.
So making, let's see, EH parallel to what?
The FG.
FG. And EH, or EF, sorry, parallel to what?
Parallel to GH.
GH. So I just used my rules, right? And so is it a parallelogram? Yes. Okay, what about this one?
Yeah. No, because there's.
They only tell me what?
The angle.
They only tell me A and C are congruent,
So you don't.
correct?
I
And what also has to be true? B and D, but do they tell me B and D are congruent?
No.
No. So it's no.
Not enough information.
Well, I said there's not another set of congruent angles.
But could we put that though?
Well,
Not
you need to
enough
be
information.
specific what information you needed. Okay, does that make sense? So, not another set of congruent angles. Because yes, not enough information is a correct answer, but is it a specific answer?
No.
No, I specifically needed another set of congruent angles, didn't I? Okay, so the last one.
Yes.
No.
No,
No.
there's not another set of.
No, because we don't.
I know that XZ is bisected, yes?
Yeah.
But do I know WY is bisected?
No.
Why don't I know that?
Because
There's no lines. Okay? No. Because, let's phrase this one a little bit different. It doesn't say that WY is bisected. I wanted to phrase it a little bit differently than the other one, okay? If it told me that WY was bisected, would this be a parallelogram?
Yes.
Yes, but it doesn't tell me. This is where I was getting what information do I still need, because I had to state what I still needed, didn't I? Okay, so this is all your homework is. If you want to do these last two, I will wait about 2 minutes and about a minute and start working on them 2 minutes. If not, please remain quiet because I'm still recording. Your assignment is on the board. It's 6-4, page 276, 4 through 9, and 6 through 19. Make sure you're showing your work. Yeah, and those of you who already did the problem, you can check.
Guys are rushing really fast.
Yeah. What you guys do on those?